Hey guys, I'm FatBuddyCat, but this is a Wildcat 223. All right, the first thing we're going to be doing today is modifying the stock coil wire and spark plug boot. I think I have everything we need. This red spark plug wire came off of my Chinese dual sport motorcycle, so I think it's going to be fine for this application. I just stuffed it entirely into an MSD non-resistor 90-degree boot. So I don't know if you can see on up in there, but it's all the way. What I'm doing is making sure that I have ample length to go from my coil up to the spark plug itself. So we'll remove the stock job, push that on. That's as deep as it's going to go once we put the end on it. And oh yeah, we're going to just make it. So now that we know that, we know that we want to be careful how much we take off of this end to affix to this. All this is a crimp-on terminal. It goes onto the end of the wire that is inside the cap. A lot like what they have going on here. This is going to go onto the spark plug, and the boot itself goes over the ceramic portion. You can see it really gets on there. What we're going to be careful is of how much of the wire we expose, so that we don't take away from that length that we have. So I'm going to try to figure out what gauge that is and start exposing some of the copper. Well, it looks like the old 10 gauge stripper worked out for us today. We're going to be looping this copper over and feeding it into that middle section. You see that little tang down there? Oh yeah, I know you see it now. That's what we're going to concentrate on. Once we get the loop around there, we're going to be crimping the two ends down on top of it. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. Now I'll wrap it around with these tangs here. You can see here, I just wrap one around and then I bring the other one over so that we're giving it a nice little hug. Now I'm going to cram the end with the terminal into the long end of the boot, making sure that this open side is facing down. Once it's stuffed all the way inside, you should be able to see your terminal. It's up here, ready to receive your spark plug. That was the hard part. Now we just have to attach this end to the coil. That means we can take this one off. Sometimes the stock ones can take a little bit of effort to start but they're just twisted in. I use a pair of needle nose to grip it and rip it a few times. When it finally started to come off, I was able to get it with my hands. I'm going to take that nice little cap off. We're going to reuse that on the red wire. If you look down inside, you can see something that looks like a screw. So that's going to go inside the silicone, I believe this is, and we're just going to thread it on, and the copper that's inside will make a nice connection. I'm all the way in. I didn't use the pliers, just my hands, a little bit of downward force, and twist to the right. We'll lower that nice little cap down, and then this end will get attached to the spark plug. When they're short like this, I like to hold on with one hand and then work the boot with the other so that I'm not pulling too much on either end of the wire. You know that you're all the way on when the terminal clicks on to the terminal nut on the end of the spark plug. Next, I'm going to reinstall the factory fan shroud. I'm pretty sure that these stickers are no longer applicable, so I'm going to remove them now while this is still off of the engine. It's a lot easier to work your razor around all these round edges and such when this thing isn't attached to a 30-pound slab of cyborg meat. I'm going to take a little lacquer thinner on a rag and see if I can't clean that glue up a little bit. If I were to scratch it at this point, I could just take it outside and touch it up with a little bit of the black paint. I have 1, 2, and 3 bolts tightened. This one I left loose, and I left the kill switch open. That's because all of this is already on the mini bike. I just went ahead and grabbed the exhaust studs and hardware off the stock Wildcat head, and then added a new gasket that matches this port. This is a Wildcat WC22 26mm round slide carburetor. I've had really good luck with these in the past. I was also running a smaller intake valve. We're boosting the compression, we're using a smaller chamber, and we didn't go larger on the exhaust valve. So I'm just gonna install this thing with the stock jets, and we'll have to see what happens. Nothing fancy here, just 2 studs and 2 nylock nuts. Just slapped a clean filter on. This carburetor just came off of a Predator 212 that was on the mini bike, so the slide, needle, throttle cable, and Mikuni linkage are already connected. Next, we just got to get it on there. This Trailmaster only takes about 20 minutes to do a full engine swap. With everything connected, we just turn on the gas, let that carburetor fill up. We'll see what happens. Alright, switch on. On. A little choke. Let that warm up a minute. I have my warm idle set where I like it. Torkzilla, ready to go. I think you know what we got to do now. I can't wait. Because as always, it's a work in progress. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you on the next one.